Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. It is believed that an immoral life creates hindrances in meditation. Immoral life as hindrance in meditation. What is meditation? The correct word is dhyan. It is not your character. It is not what you do. It is what you are. There is a difference. What you do, you are doing and being. Doing is an action, what you do. Being what you are. It is not a character. It is the consciousness that you bring to whatever you do. Consciousness is energy that is never born, never dies. It changes the form. This is the scientific concept of soul or ruh or atma or whatever you may call it. It is energy which changes form from just as energy is kinetic energy and other forms. In the same way, it changes the form. It is not meditation or dhyan is not the character. It is the consciousness that you bring to whatever you do. The doing is irrelevant as far as meditation is concerned. Whatever you are doing, what is important is whether you are doing it consciously or not is the question. Whether moral or immoral, are you alert? If you are alert, aware, meditation happens. If you are not alert, aware, you live in sleep, a sleepwalker. There is another important thing that I will take, the mystery of the three numbers, 3, 6 and 9. There are so many mysterious things about it that these can be explained scientifically. You take any three numbers ending with 9 or ending with 0. You digitize all the numbers into 1. 1, 2, 9. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 9 is 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 is 3. Right? You add 1, 2 and 9. It comes to 12. 12 when it is reduced, it comes to 3. Then you take the number not ending with 9 with 0. 1, 2, 0. Add up all the numbers. 1 plus 2 is 3. When whatever number you take, it ends up in 9 or 0, its digital total will be same, both of them. If you take number 1239, 1230, it will come out to 1, 2, 3, 0, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 9, 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. It always happens that way. Then a triangle has 3 angles, 60. 3 angles, 360 plus 60 plus 60 equal to 60 into 3, 180. Total comes out to be 9. 9 is the mystical number. It simply regulates 3 and 6. 3 and 6. The major work on this was done by Nikola Tesla. The mystery of 3, 6 and 9. He used to be considered as a madman, because whenever he will enter a building, he will try to do 3. Whenever he is staying in a room, in a hotel, he will look for that number. I follow this. All the vehicle numbers are in the multiples of 3, 6 and 9. So this is another time I will take, but just to give you an idea. You can be moral while you are asleep. There is no problem in it. Rather, it is better to be moral if you want to be fully asleep, because when you are asleep, then society will not disturb you. If it is better to be moral, if you want to be fully asleep, because then the society will not disturb you, then no one will be against you. You can sleep conveniently, the society will help you to sleep. You can be moral without being meditative, but immorality will always be just following you behind you, just like the shadow. It will follow you, and your morality will be only skin deep, because your morality can only be imposed from without when you are asleep. You can only be pseudo, false. It cannot become your being. It is just coming onto the surface. You will become moral outwardly, but deep down there will be shadow of immorality. And the more moral you become outwardly, the more immoral you will be within. In the same proportion, these pairs of opposites always remain in balance. Always remain in balance, because your morality is bound to be nothing but a deep suppression. You cannot do anything else while asleep. You can only suppress. And through this, morality will become false. You will not be a person, but simply a persona. The personality, that's the face that you carry, the image that you carry about yourself. Just And persona is nothing else but your personality or pseudo entity. Misery will follow you, and you will consequently be on the verge of explosion. Any moment, any circumstance and situation comes, you will explode. You will explode all that is suppressed. It is there waiting for you like a volcano. And if you are really honest in being moral while asleep, moral while you are asleep, asleep means it is like something imposed upon you. Only a dishonest person in that situation you can go mad, because you have to have one face that is of morality, and deep down just the opposite happens. So only a dishonest person can remain moral without being mad, dishonest. That is what we call hypocrisy. They just show that they are moral. In reality, they are not. And they find ways and means to be immoral, consequently remaining moral on the surface or pretending to be moral. Then only you can remain sane. There is no other way. If you are pretending to be moral on the surface and deep down the shadow remains, there is every possibility that you can go insane. This so-called morality that we see, we know, leaves only two alternatives. If honest, you can become insane. If dishonest, you can become hypocrite. So, those who are clever, they are hypocrites. Those who are simple, innocent, who become victims of such teachings, go mad. While asleep, the real morality cannot happen to you. And what do you mean by real immorality? What is meant by real immorality? What is meant by real morality? That's something which is spontaneous, something that is flowering, something that is the fragrance of your being. It is not imposed from outside. Not imposed from outside. Instead, it is flowering. It is the fragrance. It is the aura of your being. And real morality is not opposed to immorality. Your so-called morality is opposite to immorality. It should not be. A real morality is the absence. It is, you can say, transcendence. You know two words, morality and immorality, but in reality, the morality is something which is transcendence beyond the two. It is not in opposition to immorality. For example, you can be taught to love your neighbors, to love everyone, to be loving. It can be a moral attitude, but the hate remains deep within. Deep within. You force yourself to be loving, and a forced love is not really love. You cannot be authentic it is not going to fulfill either you or the other person whom you love. No one will be fulfilled because this is false love. It is just like false water. No one, it cannot quench the thirst of anyone. The hatred is there, and the hatred is trying to assert itself. A simple example, that falls water. In the desert, when there are sand particles and the rays of the sun fall on it, it gives an impression, that is mirage, gives an impression that there is water. But this, that you feel that there is water, it cannot quench your thirst. So if your love is like that, it has the hatred hidden behind its surface, and it is trying to find every opportunity to express itself. And a false love can be a real hindrance to it. Rather, the hatred will penetrate the false love and will even poison it. And your loving will, your lovingness, your loving attitude, loving way will become just a sort of hatred. It is very tricky and cunning. We see it all around. When you meet someone and the person smiles at you, the smile is not real. A real morality happens to a person who has gone deep within himself. If you have not experienced love within, your love will be false. And it will be just opposite to hatred. Hatred will be hidden behind it. The deeper you move within, the more loving you become. Deeper you move within, more loving you become. It is something that you have to experience within first. And there are 3 aspects for it. First, you have love. You have to discover the spring of love within you. Then you have to maintain it. And then it has to dissolve into your entire being. Then everything dissolves into one another. You maintained it and then it dissolved. Then you are at the deepest core of your being. The more loving you become, it is not something forced against hatred. It is not something which is antagonistic or against hatred. The deeper you move, the more love will flow out of you. Your words, your gestures, your presence, all will become loving. It has nothing to do hatred at all. It is not concerned with hatred at all. It is transcendence. The moment you reach to your center, I had explained many times there are 2 things, circumference and a center, a circle. Circle has a circumference and it has a center. The distance from center to periphery or circumference remains the same at any point of time of any point on the circumference. But that is measured in geometry as radius. This is the mathematical concept of pi. It was asked once. The milkmaids, the cowherds who were in the time of Krishna was dancing at the flute played by Krishna on the banks of the blue river under the moonlight. What is the nature of your love? You are so many in numbers and Krishna is one. Each one of you love him. What is your nature? So the milkmaid said, he is the center, we are the circumference. And when you measure the distance from center to circumference where each milkmaid is remains the same. Because the love of Krishna is overflowing from his center towards every one of them, and this is the concept of pi. Pi means it is a mathematical concept. Its value is 22/7, and when you divide it 3.14, and you continue like that, infinite number. This was concept which is used in mathematics, was explained during the time of Krishna more than 5,000 years ago. So the relation, when you are at the center of your being, then the entire world becomes a circumference. Whosoever your love is flowing, because X is standing at this point on the circumference, the distance is the same. The nature of love, the energy of love remains the same. You may wonder how the love can flow towards all. Look at the flower. Look at a flower. It has blossomed. It is on the tree. And if a number of people stand around the flower in a circle, the beauty of the flower or its fragrance at a distance where the fragrance could be experienced, will the person, everyone is standing on the circumference in the circle, will experience the beauty and smell the fragrance of the flower. Is it not true? This is the mathematical concept of pi. Pi, it is written like N, and on top there is a line. It is a source of meditation, highest energy. At that time, I have used this symbol used this letter as a symbol of energy for meditation. In front of my office desk in the office, on the mirror, this pi image is placed. It is important. So, a real morality happens when you have that. In that time, that will be the real morality. You have gone deep within yourself, and the deeper you move, more loving you become. You have discovered the reservoir of love. The flower has blossomed. And if different people stand around the flower in a circle, so the circle that they will form, that will be the circumference. Flower will be the center. The distance from the flower, the center, to the circumference where you are standing will remain the same. everyone will experience the same amount of fragrance and beauty and the aura of the flower, unless your nostril is blocked, and it can block because of many reasons. You know it. The deeper you move, the more love flows out of you, like an aura or the fragrance. It has nothing to do with hatred at all. It is not concerned with hatred at all. That time, when you are standing, you are only, each one of the person standing on the circumference of the circle is in the circle, on the circumference, is only watching the beauty of the flower, is affected by the aura of the flower and the smell. The moment you reach to your center, you are loving without any moral imposition. The flower is not immoral because it is said, it is something like this. Each one of the person will experience that the flower is smiling, its blossoming is like a smile. Until it was a bud, it was closed. And it is looking at you and is smiling. Its fragrance is coming only to your nostrils. You feel that flower is mine. You will feel a kind of affinity towards the flower, but you do not want to hold it. You are not want to be narrow. So in the same way, a master is at the center and each one of you is at the circumference. This is the real morality. There is no imposition. You may not be aware that you are loving. Flower is not aware that its fragrance and beauty and its aura is affecting the people. Someone may compose a poetry, next one can compose a song or something. How you can be aware? This love is just so natural that it will be just like your breathing, just like your shadow following you. Wherever you go, this love that you have experienced will follow you wherever you are. That's why at times the seekers have experienced the presence of the master or the person that they love the most, even without the presence. Because the love that overflows from the center, when you are at the circumference of a circle, is like your breathing. You are breathing the flower into you. You are breathing the love that is flowing from the center, and then the breathing becomes one with the other. This you can experience in the moment when you are having sex. Just like your shadow, this love will follow you. You will simply be loving. Nothing is given to you. You will feel that you are more loving than you were before. You are more caring than you were before. What had happened? You are at the circumference of the center, circumference whose center is the beingness. At the moment you have experienced it through the master, it can happen through anything else. Tantra teaches you the inner journey. Morality will happen, but that is not the consequence, not a prerequisite. Be clear about the distinction, consequence or prerequisite. Tantra says, do not entangle yourself into the duality of morality and immorality. These are the two outer concepts. Rather move within first. When you move within, so the techniques are there for you to move within. And don't be concerned about morality or immorality, pure or impure. Do not be concerned at all about the pair of opposites, pure and impure, moral and immoral, good and bad. Just move within. Start moving. Forget the outer world, the society, and whatsoever the society has taught you. Move away from that. All the social teachings are bound to be dualistic. It is bound to be suppressive. You have to suppress one to express the other. It is bound to be and that creates, this social teachings creates conflict in you. And if there is conflict, you cannot move within. And that is why the meditation becomes difficult. The immorality becomes hindrance, because your immorality is the shadow of morality, and morality is the shadow of immorality. It is like a coin that has the head and tail. You are taught that immorality is a hindrance in religious path. Both are an obstruction. You have to discard the coin of duality and transcend beyond the two. Only then you will be able to experience that which is real. And this can happen only when you start moving within. So forget the conflict and forget all that creates the conflict, the society, the religious teachings, and all these create problem. If anything creates the duality in you, that is an obstruction. Simply move within. The deeper you go, the more moral you will be, and that morality will not be the morality given to you by the society. You will be moral without being moral. The word is used for that is immoral. Without being conscious that you are. A flower is not conscious of its beauty and fragrance, but it is alive. Its beauty and its fragrance is alive. You can be conscious and alive of your beauty and fragrance. Without being conscious, you are moral, because there is nothing opposite to it. There is nothing opposed to it within you. You are simply loving because you feel blissful within. It is not that love is being imposed on you from outside. Someone has done something for your liking, that's why you are loving towards that person. No, it is your very nature. The flower, the blossoming of the flower is the expression of the inner harmony. Love is harmony. When there is harmony within, as a fragrance of that, as an aura of that, love flows in the form of beauty and fragrance. And the beauty and fragrance forms the aura around you. And then the flower is unconscious, but you can be conscious your love. That love has blossomed, the flower has blossomed, that was dormant for long has blossomed, and its fragrance like an aura surrounds you. Whosoever comes, it's like a magnetic field. Whosoever comes within that range is affected by it. You will notice wherever you go, the way your gestures, your mannerisms are, people find that you have changed. You have changed because you have learned the art of going within, but you are not yet fully conscious of it. So whatsoever, it is the bliss in itself. There is no end to it. No result is needed for it. It is not that you will go in with this in the kingdom of God if you love. It is not a bargain. Morality that society gives you, your so-called religious preachers give you, is a bargain. Do this and you will get that. The parents in society, the parents teach the children, if you do this, you will get this. If you don't do this, you will not get that. You will even be punished if you do not do this. Tantric morality, the morality that Tantra talks about, is not a bargain, it is an happening. The deeper you move within, the more you start living in the moment, in harmony within. You will feel that to love is to express your bliss. It is not a step or a condition or a bargain towards something else. The overflow is enough unto itself. You love because you cannot do anything other than that. And in the process of being loving, you feel blissful. You feel blissful that you are loving. You are not doing anything for your neighbor, for your children, for your husband, for your wife, for your parents. You are not obliging anyone else. It is a pleasure for you to be loving. It is pleasure to allow you to allow you to be expressed in all its dimensions. It is good for you right here and now, to be right here and now. There is no future, heaven or hell. Just now, this blissful experience creates a heaven for you, and the kingdom of God enters you. Not that you enter the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God enters you, And this happens with not only with love, with all the virtues. They flower spontaneously. First, like a petal of blossoms, then when all the petals are open one by one, then the beauty comes in. Now look at the question that immoral life creates hindrance in meditation. Really, the contrary is true. A meditative life, a life of awareness, creates a hindrance in immoral life. This is the way the Sanskrit language is in such a way that it is very mathematical. They said that immorality and immoral life is a hindrance in meditation. Reverse it. Indeed, meditation is a hindrance in the way of an immoral life. It is very mathematically true. You think before you have started growing, immorality is a hindrance in meditation. When you start going within, you will say that meditation is a hindrance in following an immoral life. Isn't it true? Just what is the difference? You have started moving within. You have started living at the center. And from the center, when someone comes out to you, you reach to the circumference to greet that person. If there are more than one person standing on the circumference, this is what happens. Krishna comes with his flute. His flute gives a clarion call, and with that clarion call, all the milkmaid starts coming. Krishna is at the center playing the flute, and all the milkmaids are all gathered around as the circumference of a circle. The distance, that the lovingness, the aura of love that each one of them feel towards Krishna is the same. Is Krishna loving one more than the other? No. Krishna is the flower that has blossomed, and its fragrance and beauty is whosoever is within the energy field of that flower, the field of aura of that flower, just like the magnetic field. So these two, that is where the mystery of the numbers 3, 6 and 9 comes in. 3 and 6 and 9. 9 remains mystical and its function is not known. It guides the 2. In the bar magnet, we know 2 poles, north and south. But who gives the energy to the north and the south pole? There is a hidden mystery. That is the mystery that flows from the center, that gives the energy field. It looks the function of equally the function of the 2, the 3 and 6. For Tantra, the basic thing is meditation. Alertness, awareness. Nothing else is more important and basic than awareness, than alertness. When someone is immoral, it shows that the person is not aware, is not alert. It is just a symptom that you are not aware. The immoral life is just a symptom that you are not alert. What is what the ordinary teaching is doing to you? Ordinary teaching will tell you this sleeping man who is immoral to be moral. He may change from morality to immorality, but the sleep continues. And this is what your teachings are. We will continue this in tomorrow's session. And once this is finished, I will take the mystery of 3, 6 and 9 with some, I am waiting for some sketches, diagrams to be made. Once that is done, then I will look into that. So until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.